So, guys, I haven't done one of these in a hot minute and I just thought it was well overdue. So today we are doing a mini movie reviews video. Woohoo! Some of you love these, some of you don't even watch them, so why am I talking to you? But today we're going to talk about the movies, TV shows, things like that I've watched since the last time I did one of these videos. I always just make a list, give a little review, let you know if I think it's worth watching, if I liked it, who it might be for, all that good stuff. So let's get into it. Some of these things I will have mentioned in like favorites and things like that, but we're gonna just get into it. So today, Cruel Summer is a TV show on Hulu. I think it was on Freeform. It's fantastic. Just watch it. There's only one season, I think like 10 episodes. It's so good. There are 3 years passing throughout this show. So there's two main girls and it's kind of following their life throughout those 3 years of them being 15, 16, and 17 years old, or abouts there. I think one's 1 year younger than the other one, but it's a mystery. It has a lot of like Pretty Little Liars vibes, but way more like good, just like better. It's very like what Pretty Little Liars could have been if it was taken more seriously and just like more realistic. And they did just announce season 2, so how exciting. Next is Shrill, also I believe on Hulu. It is so funny. It made me tear up with happiness. It's a beautiful show. It's about a girl who's just like living her life, but she's not the thinnest girl in the world, and it's great to see someone like headlining a show who's just like proud of herself and like feeling good. And it's just like such a positive, like realistic type TV show. Like nothing so outrageous happens. So it's a really nice show, and I think there's 2 seasons. Highly recommend. Next, I watched the Netflix, I think it's Netflix, right? Woman in a Window with, that's not Amy Adams? Is it Amy Adams? I think it's Amy Adams. I totally forgot. But it's a remake of Rear Window with Jimmy Stewart, the Alfred Hitchcock movie. It's about an agoraphobic woman who witnesses a murder, but no one believes her. So she pretty much is agoraphobic. She lives in her house, she won't leave, and she looks out her window and sees someone get murdered, and she's like shocked, and she like is telling people and no one's believing her. It has a good ending, let me tell you that. So if you like good endings, it's a good one. But there is some parts where it's kind of dull and you're just like, okay, let's pick up the pace. It was very surprising. I thought it was definitely not exactly what I thought was going to happen, like I said. But I do think that it got mental health really wrong. A lot of movies do, but I just want to mention that, throw that out there. But it's still a good movie. Next, season 2 of Why Women Kill. Amazing. It stars the woman from Emergence, if you watched that on ABC. She's so talented. I also love seeing more like mid-sized actresses playing main roles. I think it's so important. And her weight like literally wasn't a topic. It was just it was just there. Like they didn't have to talk about it. They didn't have to talk about her losing weight or anything like that. Like it was just normal, and it should be because it is. But yeah, I think that representation is really great to see. The girl that plays her daughter is also super talented, and I wish this show was more publicly appreciated. It's just so good. The first season is more of like an anthology of like 3 different women at 3 different points of time. One's I think the 50s, one's the 80s, and one's current times, and it's all like why someone in their life kills someone else, and it's all kind of like linked together, which is really cool. This one was not like that. It's just one like time period, one like group of people, but it's very like Desperate Housewives vibes. Like serious stuff happens, but it's like very like quirky kind of, if that makes sense, and like over the top dramatic, but it's really, really good. Next, I watched the documentary Kid 90. I think that's also on Hulu. Is it HBO? I think it's Hulu. With Soleil Moon Frye. What she did was when she was a teenager, she filmed stuff. She just like documented her life throughout the 90s, and it was really cool to see. I think that for people who grew up then like me, it's really interesting to see that kind of thing. It kind of makes me wish, it really makes me wish that I had kept stuff and like recorded parts of my life when I was younger. But it's really good if you grew up in the 90s. I think you'd enjoy it. Red Riding Hood, that is with Gary Oldman and Amanda Seyfried, and I thought it was fantastic. I'm not a huge Amanda Seyfried fan, but it was really good. Like if you haven't seen it, it's like live action Red Riding Hood, and it's dark and clever and mysterious, but it still has like the elements of a fairy tale. And it says it was directed by the same woman that did Twilight, so yeah, in the first Twilight, just, yeah. Next, season 7 of Younger, so that's the last season of Younger. I think that for me, the chemistry and the passion that the show had before, it was missing at least the first couple episodes. Like by the end, it kind of came back, but I think because they took so much time off for COVID, like maybe they like lost touch with their characters and they had to get back into it, and it came more at the end of the season. But that's just my opinion. I don't like that they were making fun of Greta Thunberg. I think that was annoying. Regardless of that, I do feel like they were unraveling a lot of the stuff they've been like raveling for the last 6 years. Like they did so much work on certain characters and relationships, and they just like unraveled all of it this last season. So I was like annoying. It kind of came full circle, but like I don't know. I didn't walk away totally happy at the end. I wasn't fully disappointed, but like I just like wasn't satisfied. Also Diana isn't in the end, so that's just annoying. Okay, Marv Easttown. If you have not watched Marv Easttown HBO Max, pause this and go watch it right now. It's amazing. Kate Winslet, this is her best role ever. Like I love Titanic, but like this is her best role ever. It's just like from the first few minutes you know this is gonna be a show that you're not like stopping. Like I couldn't go to bed. I had to keep watching it. You literally want to like scream at the TV. And it's just so amazing. I can't remember if I saw that they're doing a season 2 or not, but if they are, yay. Next, Harley Quinn on HBO Max. It's a cartoon, and like I'm not usually a cartoon person, but like this is really good. It's like an adult cartoon, but like still quirky and fun and like really cool, and I just think it's really great. And even though Kaylee Cuoco does the voice of Harley Quinn, it's still really good. So yeah. Clove Hitch Killer was like the slowest, most mind-numbing movie I've probably ever seen. It's so weird. It's like this kid finding out that his dad is a serial killer. It's just super creepy and weird. So it was just like really twisted and messed up, and like it wasn't like the murder mystery I thought it would be. So it was pretty weird. I mean, if you like weird movies, you might like it, but it's not what the commercial makes you think it is. Next, Love Victor season 2 was just as good as season 1. I love this show. It's on Hulu. I think that you can see that the characters are growing up, even the adults, so you can see their progress. It's a really great show that shows like the character development, and I also think it has a really good mix of the kids and the parents in it. Like some shows are like all about the kids and we're all about the parents, and it's like a good mixture of both of them and how they interact. Next, Mitchell's vs. the Machines is a kids cartoon on Netflix, and it's really good. Like honestly, it's kind of one of those kids movies that you'd have no problem watching, like Up or Meet the Robinsons, like that kind of thing. It's like very clever and nice and cute. It's a good story, and I think that it's like a really good, sweet, funny like kind of movie for like the whole family to watch. Next, Fatherhood with Kevin Hart was cute and it was sweet and it was like a little bit funny, but honestly it was more sad to me than funny. It's pretty much about, it's kind of like Jersey Girl with Ben Affleck, but with Kevin Hart. It's like this guy's wife dies and he has the baby to take care of, and like him struggling with that, you know. It's essentially, that's the story. And so like, yes, it has its funny moments and stuff, but it's definitely more sad in my eyes. I think that there is stuff that is in it that feels a little archaic and like sexist that they like didn't touch on the right way, but you know, I think it's a decent movie. I'm glad I watched it because it would have been on my list forever, but like it's not something I would like seek out and watch again. Next is Batman A Long Halloween parts 1 and 2. So good. It's a cartoon and it has Jensen Ackles playing the voice of Batman, which is awesome. My boyfriend got me into all this stuff, but it's so good. It took me a second to get used to like the animation because it's so different than like what I'm used to, but it's amazing. It has Jensen Ackles, like I said. Naya Rivera is the voice of Catwoman. Josh Duhamel is in it, like all their voices anyway. But I just like got really involved in it and like really sucked in, and I was so happy to see the second one because they didn't come out back to back. It was like a little time in between, so I just highly recommend. Next, Unusual Suspects on Hulu. It's from 2010 to 2018. It's literally just like a true crime show, and all the, what is it, feels like older, but the crime, oh yeah, so it feels like it's older than 2010 to 2018. Because the cops that they interviewed like are saying things that aren't really PC. They were like more accepted in the 90s, but they were still saying it in like 2010. So that was the thing to note. The reenactments of the crimes are like really bad. The narrator in the interview and all that stuff was just like bad, but it's still like a little mini true crime thing if that's your vibe. Next, Kevin can F himself with Annie Murphy, is that her name, from Schitt's Creek. It's so good. Like, it's honestly such a different take on a show that, like, it's worth it. And I think it's really different, so like a lot of people might not like be into it, but what it does is it takes the classic sitcom trope of like an overweight, lazy, idiot husband with this like gorgeous, like attractive, smart woman, and like he takes her for granted, and that's kind of like part of it. But then the other part is like it's all dark and twisted and like really interesting. So every scene that the husband's in is very bright and funny. There's like a laugh track, but then as soon as he's out of the shot, it's her world and it's like dark and gray and gloomy. It's really, really good. I'd highly recommend it, and it's already been picked up for season 2. I think it really shows Annie Murphy's like skill. Next, Good on Paper is really, really cheesy. I said the voiceover is like weird. I don't know. I just think it's like supposed to be like a mix between The Hangover and something more like wholesome for Netflix. I don't know, not great. Next, The Boys. So messed up, the show on Amazon. It's just like, it's amazing, but also so messed up. Again, my boyfriend got me into it, but it's like so dark, and the reason I got into it was because I knew Jensen Ackles was going to be on the new season, and like I was like, I have to watch it. So I caught up, and wow, if you can handle stuff that's like really gory and like intense and like really messed up, watch it. If that's not you, don't watch it. But it's just really like, if you liked like Nip Tuck, this is the kind of level, but like even worse. But there's lots of cursing. It's definitely not for everyone. If you hate violence or have like a weak stomach, then it's probably not for you. But it has a lot of the same writers as Supernatural, but it's like Supernatural on steroids. Yeah. Next, Never Have I Ever season 2 is just as good as season 1. It's not cheesy, but it has enough cheese, and it's adorable and funny and relatable. I would highly recommend it. It's on Netflix. It's a TV show. Obviously, it's season 2. The Last Letter from Your Lover with Shailene Woodley. Now, I'm not a Shailene Woodley fan. Just not. I don't like her. I don't think she's talented. But it is a decent movie. It is 60s and current, so it goes from like a relationship between these people in the 60s and relationship between them now, and it's kind of like fast at times and slow at times. It definitely had some interesting bits, but what did I write? It gets quite good in the end, but you get slower. You get closer. Closer. It gets better at the end when you get closer to all the answers, because like it's kind of like a mystery. It's interesting, but not like my favorite. I don't think I'd watch it again. Next, All My Life is based on true story. It had a slow start, and there's no chemistry between the actors. I just think that with the story they had, they could have done so much better. It's I'm sure you've seen the commercial for it. It's on HBO Max now, I think. It's like a couple based like on their real life, where like they were together, they were dating, they got engaged, and soon after that they found out that the guy had cancer and that he wouldn't be living. And so they raised all this money for this amazing wedding. And I just think that with such an amazing story like that, like they could have done better. Like the acting, just like the whole thing wasn't great. Next, Clickbait. Guys, if you haven't watched Clickbait on Netflix, what are you doing with your life? I don't think they're having a season 2. I wouldn't even understand how they could, but like if you love a mystery, I think this is only 8 episodes, might be 10, I think it's 8. But if you love a mystery, it's amazing. Each episode kind of like focuses on its own person, but you get more answers to what actually happened. And essentially, like the first episode, this guy gets kidnapped, and you see a video online of him holding up signs saying that he like assaults women and that he will die when the video hits a certain amount of views. And so like right off the bat you're interested, but it's about his sister and his wife and his kids and like his family and like what really happened, and like oh my god, like it just takes twists and turns and you suspect everyone, and it's so good. Highly recommend it. Also watched Mallrats from the 90s, which is messed up, but like just so early 90s. It's a Kevin Smith movie, so let that tell you what it will. Next, Cinderella, the Camila Cabello one on Amazon. I liked it. It's definitely not my favorite. I still like the other newer one better. The one with Lily James. That's definitely my favorite of the live action Cinderella movies. But this one I think is good. Camila Cabello is really talented. I think she's an amazing singer. She's an amazing actress. She's also stunning. Billy Porter as the godmother. Perfection. I also like the music because the way they made it was that it wasn't like a musical in the sense of like its own weird songs that tell the story of the movie. They actually covered really famous songs, so knowing the songs, feeling familiar with them definitely made it more enjoyable for me anyway. Like if you're a normal musical lover, you might not like it, but if you don't usually like musicals, it was good. I think the cast was really cool. I had Idina Menzel, Minnie Driver, Pierce Brosnan. I think that the guy who played the prince, though, wasn't my favorite. I didn't think he was that talented. He wasn't a very good singer. But I wrote Billy Porter's outfits were the best. For a movie like this, I did expect the fashion to be a little bit better for all the other characters. But, you know, what are you gonna do? I really did like it, and I think that it was like almost exactly what I expected. Next, He's All That. Okay, I have a lot to say. Maybe I should just like read it straight from my phone. So She's All That is the 90s rom-com, and it's a classic. Like, it's not cool, like it's sexist and stuff, but like it's a 90s classic. But this one was just like cringe after cringe. I said some of the people, oh yeah, I read online that some people loved it and some people said it was terrible. First of all, Addison Rae, why is she getting movie deals? Like, why? Addison Rae is not talented, like, no offense, but she's not, and I also just don't like her as a human being. I did like the cameos from the original actors from the original movie. I think that was probably the best part of this whole movie. The social media aspect of it, of like them being TikTokers and stuff, was like really old and just like it's getting old, like it's annoying. The advertising in it for brands was insane, like so obvious, it made me cringe. The acting was just like not even close to the original, like it didn't feel genuine at all. The premise is just as bad as always. I do like some of the things they pulled in from the original, like one of the characters wears overalls just like Lainey did in the first one. And what's annoying to this is that this is a Gen Z version of a movie that I feel like they didn't watch. Like, this is a movie for millennials. Like, millennials saw She's All That, but this is a movie made for Gen Z. Like, this movie should have been made for millennials. Like, it should have been made either like 10 years ago or not at all, or make it now with adults or something. The sister of the guy's character was the best actress in the whole movie. She actually did make me cry. So she is talented, but everyone else was not. And yeah, I think that's all I wrote. Next, 4 Good Days with Mila Kunis and Glenn Close. Sorry about the freaking lawnmower. But it was really, really good. Honestly, like, I know, Mila Kunis and Glenn Close play mother and daughter. Mila Kunis plays a drug addict, and Glenn Close plays her mother, dealing with this. And honestly, I've dealt with that kind of stuff a lot in my life from one side, and honestly, watching this movie just felt like partly watching my own life. So it was hard and it was intense and emotional. I think that it's decent for people who don't have any experience on either side of being someone dealing with an addict or being an addict yourself, but they did get some of it wrong in my opinion. Like, I don't know, I think it was a little bit misleading, but the acting was phenomenal. It was very, very, very good. Next is a show. I've only got 2 episodes in so far on Hulu, Only Murders in the Building, with Selena Gomez, Martin Short, and Steve Martin. It's funny and it's clever and it has like some interesting crime elements. It's just weird though, like there's some like unexpected stuff that just feels off, and also just like, it still feels like a movie from the ad, like the preview. I thought it was a movie, so that just kind of all threw me a little bit, but it's interesting. Like, I'm gonna keep watching it. Next, American Crime Story Impeachment, literally just as good as the other 2 seasons of the show. The acting is amazing. They hit the nail on the head every time. Like, if you don't watch American Crime Story, get into it. And then I watched Black Widow. I know I didn't include these movies, MCU movies, in my other videos because me and my boyfriend watched them all together. Like, he was into them before he met me, obviously, and then he got me into them. So I've now seen almost all of them, and this was the most recent one, and I had just seen it now, and I thought it was really good, to be honest. I think it was a tiny bit long for my liking. I think it also, like, took long enough to get out. And the acting was really good. Florence Pugh is that how you say her name? Pugh? I don't know, but she's so good. And I can't wait to see her in more stuff. I did think there was like a little bit too much action in my opinion, but the story was really good. And another thing that bothered me was just like the survival aspect. Like, no, all these things that these characters went through, like, there's no way. I don't care what you were injected with, like, you're not surviving these accidents. It's not gonna happen. And yeah, I think the ending, like I wrote, the ending is better than I expected. So yeah, that was the last most recent movie I watched. So those are my most recent movie reviews. Let me know what you guys think of these things. If you have any questions about movies that you don't know if you should watch, things like that. And I will put another one of these up next time I have a decent enough list. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you soon. Bye!